Hello, my dear INFJ entrepreneurs. Welcome back to another video. Today, we are very festive once again. Happy Thanksgiving for all of my US-based INFJs. Or if you are not US-based, I want to take this video to talk a little bit about gratitude. Now, gratitude is something that no matter which business you are in, you must channel in and actively practice. The first book that comes to mind when it comes to understanding gratitude in business is The Gap and Again. And this book is specifically about how to look at the gain in your business versus the gaps. So I think we often, when we are growing or when we want more clients, we want more projects, right? We want more customers, we want to make more sales. So there is a desire to grow. We often neglect the how far we have come. So we are neglecting the gain, how much we gained, and we can focus on the gap, which is what's missing. Like, I wish I had more clients. I wish I had more opportunities. I wish I had more income, right? So we tend to focus on what we wish we have, and we can over focus on that sometimes, and it can make us quite literally miserable. So this whole book is about shifting your mindset into thinking how to look at the gain in your business versus the gap. And it explains really well. I don't want to tell you all about it. I definitely highly recommend you to read this book, grab this book. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan, both of them are absolutely amazing. And they are approaching this topic with a mindset that a lot of business owners tend to not see their gains, and they're constantly in chase mode. Like, what's the next, where we're going? And I think most of us can relate to that, where we tend to look at, oh, I wish I was there. I wish, I'm comparing myself. Maybe I'm falling behind. So we all have those periods of life when we compare ourselves and our journey, especially when we see other entrepreneurs, when we speak with each other, when we hear from each other, we tend to compare, like, oh my God, like, my life is not here. Like, by this age, this person has already reached that. Or we can look around in our groups and peers, and we can often think that we are missing out, or that somehow we are behind than anyone else. But I don't want us to compare our journeys to other people, because we each have our individual journeys. And whatever your dream and goal is, it doesn't mean that's also what's working for me. So instead of looking at that, I think gratitude has been something that I actively had to learn, especially because a lot of the times, I'm not sure about your culture, but in my culture, the way, and I'm from Europe, by the way. So in my culture, what people often bond over was, quite frankly, like, what's the problem for you? Like, oh my God, it's almost like sharing what's going on for you became this one-upping game of, like, oh yeah, no, can you believe my story? Like, this happened to me, and then that happened to me. And so the bonding becomes over either terrible news or actual terrible news, like listening and reading news, or misery, or who's died, or who's got betrayed. Like, so in my family, that was quite a thing that people were bonding on. And I had to kind of learn to shift out of that, because it wasn't healthy for my mental health personally. And also, I noticed that good news, like, actually, my life is great. Like, my mom would call me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm healthy. I'm so grateful. My year has been amazing. She couldn't say, like, she couldn't connect. She couldn't say nothing to that, because that was so foreign to her. But by that time, I managed to shift out of this negative spiral of constantly thinking about the gaps in my life and what's missing, instead of really looking into what I have and what I'm grateful for. Now, I don't want you guys to think like, okay, I should not wish for anything more. I just should just be grateful to have one client, or I just should be grateful for making this much money right now in my business, that I shouldn't be wishing for more. And for that reason, what I want to add here, if that's what you are thinking, then maybe like, oh, being grateful means that I'm no longer desiring more, or like I'm no longer dreaming more, like I'm settling almost, right? It can feel like you're settling, but it's actually not at all the case. So the way I like to think about this, and I didn't come up with this concept, but to think about your desires and your gratitude, you are in both of those rooms at the same time. So one foot in gratitude and then one foot in desire. So for example, I'm so grateful for all of my clients that I currently have, but boy, I'm so excited to see how far I can take this. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't diminish how I'm grateful for everyone who comes to me, for everyone who comes to work with me, for everyone who makes it to our virtual hangouts. I'm so grateful to see all of you. But I'm thinking to myself, like, boy, like, I cannot wait. I'm so fired up by how my life is going to be like. Like, I'm so fired up by what else is there, right? Like, I cannot wait to see how this journey of my life will unfold, and the new people that I'm going to meet, and as our group is going, as my business is growing, as my skills are getting better, I'm getting better, like I'm getting stronger. Like you see that there is that desire for more, but I'm like, I'm also so grateful for everything that I have. So I often see, especially like entrepreneurs when they're launching programs, or they have the desire for certain amount of clients, and they're like, wow, I really wanted to have 8 clients, but I only have one. And it's easy to fall into the trap of the gap, again, the gap mindset. I'm like, oh, I wish I had more, instead of thinking, what, I have one and I can blow their socks off, and it can multiply and it can grow into something more, and they're gonna talk to each other, and I'm gonna grow, and my skills are gonna grow. So every time I'm working with this one client, in fact, I'm growing, as long as I get to be growing and getting more skilled. And I don't know what it is for you. It's personal to everyone, but I like to think about how we can look at what we have, how we can be so grateful, and actively practice gratitude for them, but also at the same time be like excited to see what the future holds for me. I'm so excited. I know it's going to be epic, right? So I wanted to kind of take this time to relay this message for you, to remind you of your ability to learn how to be expressing your gratitude. Maybe if you have been also getting this programming in your family where you talk about hardships and illness and bad negative stuff, how I want you to break out of this cycle and openly share with us. For our community, we always like to hear the good and the bad, but we always like to cheer you on and be in your corner, basically, and be like, hey, my life is great, and have that community where you can share those things with us, and we can bond on when things are not so great, but we can also bond on, what, this has been epic, my life is fucking great, right? So if you don't have that community, I would love to invite you to our free Facebook community. We meet every single month for our virtual hangouts. And if you're not a member, you can go ahead and join us on Facebook. I also want you to get the book if you are seeing that you need to practice more gratitude. What you can do, and I have done this productivity, INFJ productivity planner, where it's a little bit of like contemplation in the planner, in which you really need to think about things that are going on for you, what you learned, and really build this habit of gratitude. I know there are people who are specifically doing like gratitude journaling, but I think in this INFJ planner, which is also free, you can go ahead and print it to yourself and just to get more productive. There's a separate video I've done on that, so you can go ahead and watch that. It's called like how to be more productive. But definitely learning to practice gratitude and see the beauty and see the positive things in life is something that you can consciously train your mind to look for. So I invite you to take this opportunity to contemplate, to reflect, to get into the gratitude mode, but also tap into your desires, like one foot in gratitude and one foot in desire, and walk your path in that way. Like, I'm so happy, I'm so celebrating, I'm so grateful for this. But boy, I cannot wait to see where I'm going to be going and growing as I'm progressing in life. So I invite you to contemplate all of that in this Thanksgiving. And again, I would love to see you in our community. If you haven't joined us already, if you are in the community but we haven't seen you live, what I'm going to do this month is I'm going to give you guys a couple of date options. Maybe you are in a different time zone. Maybe the time of our calls is not good for you. So I'm going to put that out there in a vote and chime in and express if there's a specific time that would be better for you and you would really like to come. Okay, so thank you so much for being here and listening and watching this one. Don't forget, drive over fear, progress over perfection. Good luck, be grateful, and I cannot wait to see you guys very soon.